From VOA Learning English, this is the Education Report. South Africa has 11 official languages. If you want to say hello, it's Sawubona in Zulu and hallo in Afrikaans. Now, South African school children may start using ni hao to say hello. The country's education ministry hopes to add Mandarin language classes in some schools. Mandarin is the official spoken language of China. That country is a major trading power for South Africa. The two countries recently signed an agreement that identifies 5 areas of cooperation. They include curriculum development, mathematics and science, teacher training, and research and development in basic education. South African officials have not said how much the Mandarin language classes will cost. Troy Martens works for the Ministry of Basic Education. She says the new partnership is extremely valuable to both sides. The part of the plan that has gained the most attention is a proposal to offer Mandarin classes in schools. Last year, a public opinion survey showed that South Africans have mixed feelings about China. It found that 46% of South Africans do not like the spread of Chinese ideas and customs in their country. And 60% of South Africans said they dislike Chinese music, movies, and television. But Ms. Martens says trade with China is more important than those feelings. She says it is extremely helpful for South African students to learn about the Mandarin language and Chinese culture. And, she said, not every school will offer the language training. South African census officials have not said how many native Chinese speakers there are in the country. For VOA Learning English, I'm Alex Villarreal. From VOA Learning English, this is the Education Report in Special English. Tests of school children in South Africa show that they are not doing as well as they should. The government tested about 7 million children in 24,000 schools. This year, for the first time, testing included students in the 9th grade. There was a sharp drop in average scores from 1st grade to 9th grade in both mathematics and language. The news was not all bad, however. The country's basic education department said young students appeared to make gains compared to last year. This is especially true of 3rd graders. But the gains seemed to have disappeared in the 9th grade. At that level, only about 2% scored more than 50% in math. A spokesman for the Basic Education Department says although the results have been criticized, they show hopeful developments. Students from poor families scored well compared to wealthier students. And he said the study confirms that school attendance is high. Thabo Khupa serves on the executive committee of the Youth League of the ruling African National Congress. He said the results for the 9th grade are disappointing. He added that the test results call for officials to act. This year, South Africa's Basic Education Department was accused of failing to provide textbooks to students in the poor northern Limpopo province. An employee was accused of dropping about 700 of the badly needed books into a river in Limpopo. To educate an estimated 12 million students, the nation spends 207 billion rand, or about $23 billion. Education is South Africa's biggest budget item, and education spending is set to increase. For VOA Learning English, I'm Alex Villarreal. I'm Alex Villarreal with the VOA Special English Education Report. On July 9th, South Sudan becomes the world's 193rd nation. In January, almost 99% of voters chose independence from the North. South Sudan will also be one of the world's least developed nations. This follows years of war and neglect by the Sudanese government in Khartoum. South Sudan is about the size of France, yet it has only 50 kilometers of good roads and almost no public electrical power or other basic systems. Illiteracy rates are high. There are estimates that more than 80% of the population cannot read or write. There are 5 universities. 3 of them moved their operations to the north during the war. The southern government has brought most of the students back. Officials estimate that about 25,000 students have registered at the 5 universities. Classes were supposed to start in April, but the Ministry for Higher Education in the South has now moved the opening date to the middle of May. The government pays for food and provides housing for students. But Higher Education Minister Joseph Ukel says finding enough space was one reason for the delay. Another issue is money. The government in Khartoum will pay for the schools until July. Mr. Ukel says the southern government's proposed budget for this year does not include any money for the universities. Then there is the problem of teachers. Almost 75% of the lecturers are from the north. They are not likely to travel to the south to continue teaching for their schools. Mr. Ukel says his ministry has asked southern Sudanese teachers outside the country to return. William Deng heads a commission supervising the return of 90,000 former fighters to civilian life. He says most of the soldiers who have come out of the Southern Army need education and training. He said, the skill they only know is soldiering. Now you must train them with life skills, such as carpentry, making bricks, and also small agriculture or microfinancing. Only 4% of good land in South Sudan is being farmed. Millions of people need food aid to survive. The head of Juba University, Agre Abate, says his school can play a big part in training agricultural specialists. For VOA Special English, I'm Alex Villarreal. You can find transcripts and MP3s of our reports and other programs at voaspecialenglish.com.
From VOA